Why study elite performers and great traders? We'll talk about that next. G'day traders, Stacey Burke from Stacey Burke Trading. Today we're talking about studying elite performers, peak performance activity, and other great traders, and why that is. So I've received an email in the last couple of days about taking to task, I suppose, why peak performance is related to trading, and that this gentleman was a trader and he reckoned it was primarily all just being able to identify high probability areas for entering the market and then taking positions and being good at cutting losses. And he's correct. That is a huge part of trading. But what he failed to sort of understand was the fact that people who are great day traders or great traders in general or great athletes or great at any pursuit, whether it's academic, sporting, any profession, and most elite performers in the majority of cases have stumbled at some point. And it's important that what we can learn from great performers is that how they were able to deconstruct those tasks and identify their weaknesses and actually come back, and not only just come back, but come back strong, and then come back and become elite performers in elite areas. So if we look at athletes, we can identify that they've been able to master and deconstruct little skills, basic skill sets, and then master them. And there, Anders Ericsson talks about the 10,000 hours and how most elite performers have spent at least 10,000 hours to master one specific skill or become a master of their craft. But what is also important about that is also how people have taken and built their mindset around that, and being able to, like if you look at a great athlete, they spend hours visualizing and preparing themselves mentally, the mental state, to be able to not only have a peak performance, but have continuous, consistent peak performance game after game after game. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team, but they talk about Michael Jordan being the first one at practice and then being out there hours afterwards practicing. He has a basketball court in his home. But then he also talks about how he would visualize himself during a game. He would study game films of not only himself to look at where his weaknesses were, but where he could improve, but also of his opponents. He would study his opponents' game films and look at that over and over again. So as traders, one of the things that we can look at is, obviously your methodology is paramount. You need to have an edge in the market, and you need to monitor that edge. You need to be able to have sample sizes or data that's collected in a trade by trade basis, and then over a sample size be able to assess, is your expectancy positive on your trading system? Are you executing those trades according to your system? So not only is the positive expectancy there, but are the trades actually your best trade setup? So one of the things, like Mike Bellafiore talked about, is filtering out trades that drain your intellectual, your emotional, and your financial capital, and get rid of those trades, and then focus even narrower down on the niche trades, the 2 or 3 best trade setups, and building your playbook around that, and then learning how to trade them bigger. But then reviewing your trades. So if you're day trading, videoing your trades. For me, end of day trading, I screenshot my trades, I make the notes, I put them into a folder, and then I go back after the market's traded out and review that trade, how that trading process was. So arduous, deliberate, and intense practice. I talk about this in the 7-step daily routine for high performance traders. One of the aspects of that, if you haven't got that, go to my homepage, download it, it's an audio file. But one of the aspects of that is accelerated learning, and I talk about going and recreating, bar by bar. For me, end of day trading, it's great because bar by bar, Monday to Friday, I can recreate that, and in terms of the time of day for me and everything else, I can break that down and go through that process to recreate things as close to reality as possible. And then when I'm in the live screen, if you do 4 hours a day for 7 years, that adds up to 10,000 hours. So if we can do something to accelerate that, to 3 years or 2 years, but you need to do that through intense practice. You need to recreate things as live to reality as possible, and then also review your mental state, the aspects of around your life and around your headspace. I talk about building the vision statement. And that's because every day you're going to be bringing mental baggage to the market, and you're going to, potentially spill that into your trading. And that's where things can come unstuck. This is where algorithmic traders, computerized automated trading systems, to some degree have an advantage, but they're still run by individuals. And individuals have the ability to tweak them. They have the ability to shut them off, turn them on. And these are all critical aspects. In order for you to not only become consistent, but to ensure your longevity, just like an elite athlete, it requires that consistent dedication to your craft. There's no shortcuts to becoming an elite performer in anything at all. There's always going to be people who potentially have different starting points, and they've got, maybe access to better information or training. They've got access to, better equipment or ideas. Ray Dalio talks about they spend over $100 million a year at Bridgewater to try and figure out how to do things better. That's the largest hedge fund in the world, probably one of the most successful hedge funds in history. And they're still looking to how they can get better. So a couple of other things, you need to try and access, like when we study, I talk about this in the mindset training in the 7-step daily routine is critical, because that's where you can tap into other elite performers' ideas. It doesn't even have to be from trading. It can just come from people who have become masters of their craft. And again, potentially, like the Phoenix, they've risen from the ashes. And, I've talked about blowing up small accounts and everything else, and Peter Brandt having a major impact on my, not only my trading, but just my whole approach, changing perspectives. And sometimes that's the thing. One little thing from a podcast or a video or something will tweak you in the right direction, and that's what this is, a game of inches. And when you add those inches up over time, that's where you're going to be making that constant progress. And trading is the most competitive, hostile environment, and there's no barriers to entry. People can come in and just start clicking the mouse, and for the average retail trader, we know 95% of retail traders lose money. The 5% or less that make the money, there's probably 1% that are making the big money. That's come from, putting all the pieces together. Now, not everybody's going to have to do the work, but the average retail trader, in order to get to that elite level, is going to have to pay the price. So, just a couple of other points. Building your mental state, building your tactical skills, developing, a risk management mindset, developing a business mindset around your trading, but also crafting that vision and just constantly shaping that and moving in the direction of where you want to be in 12 months from now. We're at the end of the year. We keep talking about setting some new goals, but I'm talking about really raising the bar on yourself. Your health, your wellness, your perspective on everything, and just really taking things to another level. So where you've set your parameters, really look at the goals that you've set for yourself and ask yourself, am I really taking advantage of everything that I have to squeeze the most out of what I can get? So hopefully you got some value from today's video, traders. A couple days away from New Year's. There's going to be some huge opportunities coming next year. It's gonna test you. You're gonna have some challenges, but it's time to raise the bar on yourself and step up to the plate. So stay disciplined, stay focused, wind down the year on a positive note. Let's hit the new year running at top speed, and may the markets go with you. Hi traders, it's Stacey Burke from Stacey Burke Trading. If you haven't done so, please head over to my website at staceyburketrading.com. I create updates on almost a daily basis, and I would love for you to receive them. Just click on the blog. If you want to enter your name and your email address, I'll send you my free audio program, the 7-Step Daily Routine for High Performance Traders. This is essential knowledge for all traders in all markets. And this is for helping traders to master the market with discipline, confidence, and a winning mindset. I appreciate all your feedback and comments. As always, traders, stay disciplined and may the markets go with you.